Hey guys, so I reached out on Instagram and Facebook and asked about if you guys got any questions because it's been a while since I've done a Q&A video. It's May last year, 2016. So I thought I'd do another one because they're fun to do and you asked me a load of questions. So I've split them down into different videos depending on the type of questions, and so this video is all about my personal life. So let's get started. Chloe French, what is your overall aim or goal for this year? I don't know. Well, my overall goal or aim for this year is to finish reading the Marie Kondo book on, the life-changing magic of tidying up. My aim is to finish reading that and to get started. I've already started a bit of purge of the house. I really want to declutter this year and kind of get the house a lot more in order so I can free up some mental capacity because it is starting to get me down a bit. Excuse me. So I want to do that. And John and I are going to Scotland this year. We're going to, I'll be attending the Scotland Plannercon in May, and we have decided to use that as an excuse to go on holiday to Scotland. It's always been on our bucket list, if you will, to go to Scotland. We always wanted to do the west coast of Scotland and the Hebrides, and so we thought, hey, let's just do that. So that's a goal for this year, which is actually coming to fruition soon. Other goals, there's don't really know, to be honest with you. It's kind of the last 2 years, as you guys know, we adopted Miss B last year, and the last 2 years have been focused on the adoption process, and then Miss B joining our family, and there's a buttload of meetings, and it's an emotional, stressful process, and it's kind of like this year we just feel like we just want to live and chill out as a family, just do normal things that families do, like go for walks in the woods and to the park, and maybe go to the odd swimming, and just live and become a family and be normal. That's kind of our goal for the year. Main thing is just to kind of get to know each other a lot more. Don't get me wrong, we're already, know each other, but just to live and to be happy and live a normal life. That's kind of like our goal for the year. Declutter, so get it all, get our house all in gear, go on a few camping holidays, get out there a bit more, get on the road a bit more, because last year we didn't do anything because John basically used all of his holiday up on the adoption process. So we want to go on some holidays, have some camping trips, and just kind of have some fun this year. So it's kind of like nothing major, nothing like groundbreaking. I'd love to grow the Brimbles business, but I'm not sure if that will happen at all this year or not, or if it will ever happen. Who knows? I'd love to, but we'll see. Carol Hobson, what are your hopes for the future for you, John, and baby B? I would just like us all to be really happy and healthy. That's my hope for us as a family. Steph Kitching, which 3 YouTubers do you always make time for and watch regularly? Now, I don't know whether you guys would want them all to be planner or journal ones, because I don't always watch them. Art-wise, when Courtney of Little Raven Ink, when I see that she's uploaded a video, I usually try and get to that. And also Serena B. I really like their style, so I watch both. Serena B is more of like a she's sort of more scrapbooky, paper craft type channel, whereas Little Raven Ink is more art and art journaling. I watch my design team's videos. There's more than 3 there already. And other than that, the other channels I watch aren't actually journal or art related videos. I watch sort of other stuff that I'm into. Right, Kiri Broad, where should a giraffe wear his tie? Now, there was a photo that went with that, i.e. does he wear it at the top under his chin so it then dangles down, or does he wear it low down but then it doesn't look right? My answer would be a giraffe doesn't wear a tie because a giraffe is too cool. A giraffe is more laid back. I don't think a giraffe wears a tie because he's not a formal kind of person. He's kind of a bit more laid back, a bit cool, no tie. That's my response. Michelle Sichi, is that how you say it? How do you find the time? There's so much I think about watching your videos, but can't think. How do you keep your home so tidy? How does it feel sharing a proportion of your life with us? I have loved getting to know you and find out about the minutiae of your life as well as how you plan and organise. So I like hearing about you and John and any snippets about adjusting to life with a tiny. How do you keep your home so tidy? Wow. I only ever show you the bits that I want you to see, like, oh, look how tidy my room is right now. There's a few bits on the side there. That's my friends, that's going back, that's John's book, that's some bits I bought in the sale that I've got to try on. But look how tidy. Ooh. I only show the bits that I want you guys to see. My house used to be immaculate before having a child. You guys that have got toddlers or small people will know that it's like painting the fourth bridge, keeping your house tidy with a small child. So yeah, my house at the moment is, well, generally speaking, isn't very tidy. I try as hard as possible, but you know what? Spending time with my daughter and my family is more important. As long as like we're not living in a cesspit that's unhygienic, then I don't care. I'd rather spend time with my people than I would cleaning. You know, the dusting will be there tomorrow, so let's go out and enjoy it today. So yeah, I only share the bits that I want to share. It's not all that is that tidy. And find the time, as I said, like in another video. I think if you really want to do something, you will make the time to do it. And I'm not a massive TV watcher, so if I do watch TV, I tend to have like a journal or something on my lap, and I'll be drawing or arting or crafting at the same time. I find it quite difficult to relax. I'm a hyperactive person. I find it quite difficult to relax sometimes, so I'm always on the go. And I don't know, sometimes like this last year I've amazed myself how we've done so much, like how we've kept the business rolling, how we've become a family, all that kind of stuff. So I don't know, to be honest with you. I know a lot of people miss my vlogs, but they're not coming, the day in the life vlogs, but they're not coming back. I obviously, when I stopped doing them, I knew that we were going through the adoption process, so I stopped doing them because for one, I didn't have kind of like the emotional capacity in my head to be able to do them. It was quite a laborious process, and so I was just wanted to just kind of get through. And now that Miss B's here with us, for security reasons, we can't put her on social media of any kind. So having a child in the house that's like running around all over the place would be really difficult to vlog. It would be really bitty. You know, she needs me. I've got housework to do. I've got work to do. YouTube is a hobby, so I have to fit that in around, like, everything else comes first. My family come first, then my work, and then anything else. So I miss doing daily vlogs, but equally my family come first, and I can't put her in videos, and so trying to work around her would be quite difficult. So they've stopped. Who knows if they'll ever come back? They might come back when she's older, and I know when she's gone to school, and I can vlog when she's out of the house. Then maybe I'll do that, but not at the moment. Debbie Crowder, what has been the biggest thing you have had to change or adapt to with having a little one now? that kind of goes in line with Jackie Martinez. I would love to know one thing that has surprised you the most about having a child. One thing. I guess having a child is having an adopted child is very similar to, or the same as having a birth child in many, many ways. You know, they are your child just like they are a birth child would be. But equally, having an adopted child is also very different in some ways, and some of those differences can, in some situations, can be bigger than others. More in terms of like dealing with other people than the child and the family, like our family in itself. So that can be challenging. In terms of actually having a child in the house, it's kind of like how much mess. Oh my gosh, like I kind of, like the other day I cleaned the worktop in the kitchen to turn around to find that the floor was just, you know, chaos. And that's like tidying up, it's like painting the fourth bridge. So that, I knew children were messy, but seriously. The other thing, like how going for a poo has become like a family communal affair. I didn't fully realise that. So yeah, those are kind of like some of the surprising things. I knew a lot of what we were getting ourselves in for, but you know, still. Biggest thing I've had to change or adapt. I think we've spent so long planning and waiting for her that kind of we've started to put a lot of those things in place already. It's like going in line with my word of the year is that I need to give myself a break in terms of, I know that I'm doing my best, or I'm trying to do my best, and so I need to like just keep giving myself a pep talk that I'm not Superwoman, I'm doing the best I can, and there are some things that you can't do, and I need to learn to be okay with that. You know, I can't do everything all the time, and that's something that I need to learn to live with and be okay with and come to terms with. Kate McCall, several women look to you for inspiration. Oh, thank you. And similar to Stephanie's question, who are the top 5 YouTubers, Instagrams that you follow religiously? Well, Instagram, I follow a load of people on Instagram, and I tend to look at Instagram when I'm on the loo, making a cup of tea, just random little snippets of the day. And I follow loads of people, but I don't follow anyone like religiously. I just flick onto my Instagram, and whoever's like, because it's that weird algorithm thing now, isn't it? It's done by most popular rather than that. So I just flick through, and whatever's there I see. So I don't really follow any. YouTubers, as I said, Little Raven Inc. I follow, Serena B, Romney's Realm, Miss Vicky B. All the people on the design teams are My Green Cow, Chloe Murray, Geraldine Jane, Novelty Corner. Those are like my planner and journal people. There's also other people I like. I like watching ASMR videos to help me drift off to sleep sometimes. I like Molly Roberts of Her Speak, but she's like a witchy channel. There's other kind of people like Fun for Louie, Ben Brown, like travel vlogs. I like Vouchermatic, they're an off-grid family. Happy Healthy Vegan, gosh, there's quite a few that I like. Mary Freeman, what does Miss B think of the rabbits and guinea pigs? Oh my gosh, she's loved them. She's loved them from day one. They haven't loved her from day one. They like her. They've always been really curious about her. But when she gets excited, she gets quite screechy, and she's calmed down a lot. Now they've got to know each other a lot more. Things are going really, really well. But she does still sometimes like shriek at them, which they don't like. And also she's fast, she runs. And so sometimes I think when a small person is like running towards you, like the rabbits are a bit like, you know, because prior to that, it was just me and John in the house. It was all kind of like quiet and quite calm. And then when this like toddler just comes like running at you and going, it can be a bit like, whoa. So at first, you know, because she loves them, she was like, oh, wow. And obviously we had to tell her that you have to be very gentle with them and they're delicate, and you know, that kind of stuff. And so she absolutely loves them. She feeds them their breakfast and dinner every morning, and she's the one who kind of reminds us to do that. And she absolutely loves them to pieces. They're her best friends. She will, if they're under the table or something, she'll go under the table and lay on the floor and chat to them. And you know, Florence loves her back, and Florence will come over and see her. But yeah, they're all getting along swimmingly now, which is fantastic. Cutie Pie Sparkle Face. Where would you love to travel, and would you ever consider travelling to New Zealand? I've never really thought of New Zealand as a place. I'm really into kind of like the Americas. I really like, there's loads of places. I'd like to go to Alaska, I'd like to go to Yosemite, I'd like to go to Yellowstone, Grand Canyon. I'd love to go back to Hawaii, I'd love to go to San Francisco. So there's quite a few places in the Americas that I'd like to go to first before I went elsewhere in the world. But yeah, I guess so. I think like there's so many places, but like how often do you realistically do a big budget holiday? You know, it's so expensive to fly anywhere. Maybe we'll go to New Zealand one day, but being honest, like there's other places on my list. Like John wants to go back to Norway because he grew up for a while in Norway. Want to go to Lapland, you know. So yeah, there's loads of places. Hopefully one day we'll be able to get there, but you know, it's a case of working hard to, you know, we're just a normal family trying to like pay our bills, raise our family. So, you know, we've got to plan and save and all that kind of stuff for travel. Last question, Caitlin Abigail. If you feel comfortable, could you share your experience with adoption? It would be really interesting for me as someone considering adoption in the future. Kind of thought about this for a while on and off, and the biggest thing, let me put this paper down. The biggest thing is that our process wasn't quite normal. We had a few hiccups with our process, mainly because we had one support worker who then went on maternity leave, so we had to get to know another support worker who then went on maternity leave. So there were a few other things that happened. So our process wasn't quite the normal. Ours did sort of take longer than normally happens, and depends on whether you go to a local authority or go privately. Everywhere is different. They all have their own different systems and processes. I can talk generally about stuff, but it is quite different depending on where you go. And at a time when we started our process, there weren't any children coming through the system, which is obviously fantastic for the children. One thing you have to really learn when you're going through the adoption thing is it's not about you as a couple. You may well really desperately would like to adopt a child, a baby, a sibling group, whatever it is. You may desperately want that, but it's not about what you want at all. The entire process is about the child, which is how it should be. It's all about what is right for the child. It's entirely child-centered. Your thoughts do matter because you are the one who's got to look after the child, but at the end of the day, it's all about what is best for the child. And so if anything's happening on the children's front, then your stuff can slow down. And yeah, it's all, I don't really know how to tackle sharing, to be honest with you. It's as I say, I'm happy to sort of share the process of what we went through. However, it is different in different agencies and at different times. As I said, when we first started, there weren't any children coming through the process. There was a bit of a, well, I say it's good for the children, there was a bit of a bottleneck, but case law and things change all the time, and that means that stuff can change. And at the time we started, there was a little bit of a change, so they were having to go back and investigate cases a bit more in depth, which meant that some of the children were remaining in foster care a bit longer. But then as we were coming out of our process, they suddenly had an influx of children, and they were desperately trying to find homes for those children, and so it's, you know, a bit difficult. But yeah, so I'm not against sharing. Obviously I can't share any particulars to Miss B for security reasons. I can share that we have now come to the end of our journey, and she is now legally our child. Her entire name has now changed. She does not have the same name that she had when she was before. That being said, where possible, I do still want to keep her name out of social media, which is why I always refer to her as Miss Brim, even though she doesn't have the same first name. So it's kind of a bit awkward. It's something that I need to think about and talk about with John, about how we handle advice and information and sharing and everything. I feel like I would like to share the process, because having been through the process and having adopted an amazing little girl, who is just, she's fantastic. She has such an energy for life. She loves life so much, and she is has full of energy. She's loud, she runs around like crazy. Some of you, if you came to the UK PA Big Meet, some of you met her there. She's nuts. She's older than she looks because she's quite small, but yeah, she's just amazing. And so I am pro adoption. She's amazing, and I would recommend adoption to people if it was right for them. So I really do want to, in some ways, I would really like to talk about adoption and give people advice and stuff. I just need to work out how I can do that without kind of, you know, I don't want to be disrespectful to like the local authority, or and as I said, everything, each process is different, and I just need to kind of work out how I can share whilst also keeping the confidentiality of Miss B and her placement and everything. So yeah, I need to kind of think about that. Although I do want to share. I do want to share. And I get questions all the time about like, oh yes, I haven't told us her name and her age and all this kind of stuff, and I don't, you know, it's all kind of things like, I know when I first announced that our family was growing, I even didn't even at the very first mention that we were adopted, I sort of said our family is growing, and so a lot of people assumed that I was pregnant, but it was all just to kind of try and keep Miss B safe, basically, and so that's why I didn't say how old she was, and I didn't say what her name was, and all those kind of things. And so many people have asked me those questions, and wanted to see photos of her because they assumed that I'd had a baby, or that she was a little baby, which she is not. And it was really difficult because, like every mum, I would absolutely love nothing more than to show her off to the world because she is fantastic, but I can't do that. And that's like one of the things that I guess kind of sometimes I feel like I really want to show her off because she's my daughter and I love her, but equally I can't. And that's kind of when I said sometimes like birth children are very similar, but then they're also very different. Yes, I guess I'm just talking a lot now for talking's sake. But, you know, I just need to keep her safe, which is why I won't show any photos or anything. Like, you know, I did my flip through my December daily, and I put sticky notes over her face just to kind of, you know, keep her safe. Yes, so I guess that's it. If you've got any questions, then leave them below. I am pants at replying to comments on YouTube, but I do read all the questions, and I will have a think about how I can share in an appropriate way. So thank you for watching, guys. Bye.